Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. It's a new week. Welcome to our show titled Speak of Africa. We have another great show for you today. We thank our subscribers, we thank our viewers, and we're telling you that this is your show. We're trying to make sure that whatever is happening in the motherland, you are aware of what is going on. And we're keeping faith, okay? This week, how is Africa this week? That's the question. I know a lot of people are talking about the White House correspondent general, the mass shooting that was averted. What people are forgetting is the catalog of shootings and crises that happened in Africa this week. Almost in any major country, we can give you a news roundup. Take Cameroon, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Benin, Nigeria, South Africa. There's so much happening, and we're going to get you to understand the truth behind the news headlines. That's what this show is about. We are different. So let's look at what is happening, starting with Cameroon. In Cameroon, we've been talking a lot about the succession shuffle. Paul Biya is there. After 94 years old, he doesn't want to leave. So people keep speculating which of his sons is going to succeed him. Is it Georges Gilbert Baola? Is it Frank Biya? Or is it Frank Hertz? The speculation continues. But what people don't understand is the crisis. The Pope has come and left, and the ambassadorial crisis remains unsolved. This week, we read news in the United States of America. Two Cameroonians, Kennedy Chungak and Messi Ukda, have been indicted because they are supporting Ambazonia. So that tells you that the Ambazonia crisis is still on. Contrary to what people want to tell you in Cameroon, it has not ended, and we keep bringing this to your attention. So you can even see pictures of the news media articles that we brought to you, so you can see that the crisis continues. Mr. Chungak is a nurse working at Fort Belvoir. Fort Belvoir is a base in Alexandria, Virginia, not far from Washington, D.C. I know where that base is because I used to have a small office near that base. And a lot of those soldiers used to come and patronize my business. So I know where it is. So why are they accusing him of supporting the ADF? That's the problem. So now these two Cameroonians are now in trouble, Messi and Mr. Chungak. So but that tells you the ambassadorial crisis is still on. Then what about Benin? In Benin, most people keep talking about Kemi Seba, the arrest of Kemi Seba in South Africa. That one is really noise. It's just noise. What they are not telling you is the attacks. Now the French are helping the government of Benin to stem the tide of terrorism. But they are not telling you. They're saying that, oh, those French officers are just instructors, but they are actively involved in the fight against terrorism in Benin. That's the main story they are not telling you, and we're telling you now. So Benin, Patrice Talon is not telling you this. Most people forget the coup d'etat that happened. It is because there is so much dissatisfaction in the Beninois army. That's the truth. A lot of the soldiers are not happy. That's why they staged the coup d'etat. This is a country that is dominated by French interests. What about the people's interests? The people's interest is not there. And that's the problem we face in Benin. Benin is not unique as a former French colony. Even when you look at Burkina Faso, the same problems are taking place. For so long, we've been talking to you about the way Ibrahim Traoré is struggling to stem the tide of terrorism in that country. He's trying. Is his best enough? We don't think so. Every day you still get people dying in Burkina Faso. Even this week, over 20 people were killed in Burkina Faso. Then there's even conflict. Some of the religious imams have disappeared. People are speculating that maybe Ibrahim Traoré's guys are the ones who have picked them up. Where are these imams? These imams were criticizing the new secular document that Ibrahim Traoré is trying to promulgate against terrorism. but they feel this is a way to restrict freedom of worship in the country. So this is creating more tension. So in Burkina Faso, you can see that the terrorists are still taking over big swaths of territory in the country. Now, Burkina Faso is coming up with a new deal where a lot of young people have to be recruited into the army to fight jihadists. We've been saying on this show so many times that militarization is just one aspect. This war on terror has to be fought in different ways, but nobody seems to be listening to us. Just using arms is not going to solve the problem. And you can see this, what has just happened in Mali this week. The terrorists, the Tuareg rebels, and the Al-Qaeda affiliates, Jinim, were back in action with so many coordinated attacks. In fact, the defense minister of Mali, Sadio Camara, was killed. These guys were so bold. They went to so many places in Mali. They hit so many places with a coordinated attack. You would think this is a traditional army, but these are guerrillas fighting to topple the government of Assimi Goïta. Where is the African Corps, which has taken over from the Wagner Group? When people are bent on fighting for their freedom, no superpower can prevent them from doing what they want to do. And that's why even Assimi Goïta should have been shocked this week the way the Tuareg rebels and the Jinim Al-Qaeda affiliate splash into action and kill a lot of people, including even their own defense minister. If the defense minister cannot be protected, so it means the terrorists are holding sway. They are taking over the country. So Russia is ineffective in helping Mali to fight the jihadists. Before, we were talking about the ineffectiveness of the French. Now, what about Russia? Russia is ineffective too. So let's call a spade a spade. When you look at what is happening, it's a serious problem. And the attacks that took place in so many places in Mali today, this is what I call World Cup attacks. So should Mali continue just using militarization? Why do you continue doing something the same way? It is not working, yet you continue doing it. Is this what Albert Einstein called insanity? When you do something, it's not working and you keep doing it the same way. Are you insane? It seems to me the leaders of that country are insane. They too are not listening. I think we need to start looking at a form of analysis. The leaders of Mali need to start listening to their people. Just using might is not going to solve this problem. Because when you use might, the rebels also pick up guns and they start fighting. You may beat them today, they will come back. So they say a Spartan dies but never surrenders. These jihadists are behaving like Spartans in ancient Greece. You beat them, they die, but they don't surrender, they just keep fighting. So a common sense approach, which I'm saying on this show, is for Mali to sue for peace, organize a national dialogue, bring the various parties, sit and work like brothers and sisters to create peace. That's what is going to work. Just fighting with arms is not going to solve the problems, because when you pick up arms, the rebels also pick up arms. Then you guys continue fighting, okay? Then what about Niger? In Niger, we hear that Russia, Africa, has been able to free some Russians who were abducted and also some Ukrainians who were abducted. So that's good news for those foreign countries. But what about the local people in Niger? They are still bearing the brunt. Poverty, bad governance, social strife. The problems are still there. Then what about South Africa? South Africa also is in the news for two reasons. One, their police chief was indicted for corruption, okay? It's corrupt, and that's why the ANC has been losing power in that country. The people were thinking that with majority rule, prosperity will come. But they are still saying that the wealth is still concentrated in the hands of the white folks. Then the black people, the elite, are enjoying. But the main guys are not really enjoying the fruits of independence brought to your average South African. They feel independence has not brought much to them, and they are still complaining. That's what we see in South Africa. But another element which we see in South Africa, which we want to draw to your attention, is xenophobia. Xenophobia. This is the hatred of other people. And in South Africa, we are really concerned with the hatred of Nigerians. Why are South Africans hating Nigerians so badly? Why? We've asked this question so many times. I know for a fact what Nigeria did to free South Africa from apartheid. Nigeria did a lot. Why is the South African government allowing its people to maltreat Nigerians, beat them, harass them, kill them, seize their shops? Why? So we think the South African government needs to be more responsible. The government of Cyril Ramaphosa should know some history. Nigeria helped South Africa to become free. The least South Africa should do is to accommodate Nigerians. If they don't accommodate other Africans, at least they should accommodate Nigerians. Because the way most of these South Africans are behaving, they feel like Nigerians are their problem. We've said this on this show many times. South Africa became free because other Africans contributed to fight for the struggle to free South Africa. Black Americans also fought to free South Africa. So it looks like your average South African is looking for an excuse by attacking foreigners. Foreigners are not your problem, South Africa. Your problem is your leaders who are not good. Even Cyril Ramaphosa, he's a rich person. He should be able to help his people to deal with the problem of poverty in the country. Look, they decided to take over the governance from ANC because the ANC was failing. So this is an alarm bell. Cyril Ramaphosa should do better to contain the wild acts of some of these South Africans who are looting the properties of Nigerian businessmen. You are discouraging foreigners from investing in your country. Nigeria has done a lot for you. So when your people are sending Nigerians away, telling them to leave South Africa, closing their businesses, that's a very bad sign. Capital takes flight and it may never return. But we're warning South Africa because what they are doing is not good. South African police should take action. Why are these people not doing something to protect business people? So I think the blame needs to be heaped on the South African government and the South African police. They need to do enough to protect foreign traders. Nigerians are there not to commit crime, but to help the economy, to provide jobs, to provide goods and services. They should be protected. That's what we're saying. If they are not protected, then this is really a bad sign for South Africa. Finally, we're going to take our news to Nigeria itself. In Nigeria, we have a lot of issues. Insecurity is rife. Benue area, the biggest story is a monarch. He was killed, his wife was killed, his son was killed, and 3 other people in the Benue area were killed in a small local community. Yet, Bola Tinubu keeps talking about doing a lot to help the country, but we think he's focusing more attention just on re-election. He needs to start paying attention to insecurity. I don't know what the security chiefs are doing, but these guys are still striking at will. So it looks like he may have to force the people to take the law into their own hands by arming themselves. Because it looks like most people who are in remote areas cannot be protected by the federal government. The federal government needs to do something to protect your average Nigerian citizen. So if bandits can walk or drive with motorcycles into the residence of a monarch in a local community and kill him, kill his wife, kill his son, and other people, what does this tell us about Nigeria? It means that the government is failing. The government is collapsing. The government is there just to steal money and make noise. Make noise. But we think instead of focusing on 2027, Bola Tinubu needs to start focusing on insecurity. What can we do to nip insecurity in the bud? There are three areas of this problem. The problems are political, economic, and social. On the political front, when we look at the problem of insecurity in Africa as it obtains today, we can take you back to 1884, the Berlin Conference. The states that were created in Africa are infantile states. They are very, very little. They are very weak. They cannot survive in a modern world where there is a lot of superpowers. The United States, Russia, Japan, China. In order to survive in this economy, the states in Africa need to be powerful. But the colonial guys intentionally made these states in Africa weak. Then they deceive us with a game called democracy. Democracy is a game where the winner takes it all, and the winner always connives and tries to get rid of his opponents. Then they work with dictators in other lands, then with foreign guys to steal the wealth of the people. With state capture, they steal the wealth. And this happens in all the countries we are telling you now on this show. Cameroon, Benin, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, South Africa, Nigeria. State capture is everywhere to be found. So it makes the whole notion of democracy anachronistic. Okay? It's not a good system of government for Africa. Africa needs to come up with their own form of government. And this is what we've been saying on almost every video we produce on this show. We need a new form of government. We need a new set of leaders. The kind of leaders we have in Africa do not care about their people. And that's why we have this issue of insecurity. When people think you've robbed them, you've taken something from them because you think you are powerful, they are forced to fight back. And this is what is really happening. Most of the people you call bandits, terrorists, they are citizens. They are your brothers and sisters. So you have to look for a way to sit at the table with them to dialogue, to resolve Africa's problems. This is what we are recommending. Don't think that because America, China, Russia gives you arms, you can kill your brothers with joyful abandon and get away with it. Because that's the mentality of a lot of the so-called leaders in Africa. They think that they can kill their brothers and sisters, then tell them to get lost. No, these people feel entitled. They feel they also own that country. The country doesn't belong to the leaders who have hijacked those countries in Africa. And which is why the people tend to fight back, because they feel the whole these leaders have on the country is illegitimate. So they don't accept them as legitimate leaders. So in order to have legitimate leaders, we need people who have a vision, people who are patriotic, people who love their country, people who believe in Africa for Africa, people who are selfless, people who are self-effacing. Those are the kind of leaders we need in Africa. But the present crop of leaders are bad guys. They are gang leaders. They are gangsters. They just come in there because they want to steal from the people. And they steal from the people without shame. You look at Bola Tinubu. Nigerians look at him like a gangster. Jagaban, right? They look at him like a gangster. He runs the country like a gangster. He thinks like a gangster. He behaves like a gangster. How can a gangster fix a country? So this is a lesson for Nigerians. If you keep electing gangsters to run your country, what do you expect? Don't expect anything better to happen when gangsters are the ones running your country. So you need to change. You need to start looking for leaders. As they say, the beautiful ones are not yet born. The beautiful leaders are not yet born, so they need to be born. And that's really the purpose of this video, to let you know that we need a new crop of leaders. Leaders who are charismatic, leaders who love their country, leaders who believe in the ideal of a nation, not just a tribe. Some of these people are people who love tribalism. They are there just to serve members of their tribe, because that's the secret of their power. Okay? Their tribe supports them so that they can stay there forever. Same thing happens even with Paul Biya. He's there because he gets support from his tribe. All the military guys come from his tribe. Then you have the elite who play the game with them and keep the country in perpetual poverty. While the poor people cry, Nothing happens. If they make noise, they send soldiers to beat them in the streets, then send them away. That's exactly what happened when Issa Chiroma won the election in La République du Cameroon. He thought he's going to dislodge the dictator Paul Biya. I'm sure he's really surprised that he could not dislodge the dictator, right? No, the dictator is entrenched because of colonial forces, okay? Most of these colonial forces give them arms to stay in power forever. So long as they are supporting the interests of the Western powers, they're not going to allow them to be dislodged by any opposition. And this is what most guys don't understand. These Western guys are supporting these leaders because of the interests, economic interests, okay? There are resources in Africa, in almost every country. You wonder, as the Pope said the other day, why are these countries poor? The countries are poor because of bad leadership. That's really the truth about it. Africa is rich, but the citizens are poor because Africa is ruled by leaders who are not interested in the welfare of their people. They don't understand that to rule a country, you have to be interested in the people. They are not interested in the people, so they do what they love. If they can take care of their own families, they don't care about what happens to other people. And this is what we see even in Nigeria. Okay? Bola Tinubu focuses attention on himself. He doesn't really care about what happens to the people. But you look at insecurity. It is happening. Bola Tinubu holds so many meetings all the time with his security chiefs. What are they really discussing? Can they not come up with a blueprint to start dealing with the scourge of terrorism, the scourge of bandits killing people, abducting people? Most of these people are in local areas. Do you need to be a nuclear scientist to come up with a program to protect them? How long do you have to wait to come up with a campaign that can save these people from death? Now, a lot of people in Nigeria, in fact, I have a lot of friends who travel to Nigeria on holidays. They have big mansions in Nigeria, but they know their biggest problem is insecurity. So they have to hire their own private security to protect them and to protect their property. If this is what is going on, then what's the use of a government? So the government is useless. This is what we see. So our dear friends, I've spoken, but I should not be the one to speak all the time, which is why I've decided now to start looking for other journalists who can also be amplifying my voice. I say things, I want them to also say things. So you also can become a journalist who can join my network. So I'm recruiting new journalists to be talking. I can present my perspective. This is just a singular perspective. What do you think? So I'm asking you, I've just exposed some of the problems we're facing in Africa today. How do you think this problem should be solved? Do you believe in the economic, political, and social solutions I've presented in this video? If you do not believe what I believe, what do you believe? I'm asking you. Feel free to comment in the comment section because we want to hear from you. I don't want to have a monologue. This channel was created because I wanted us to have a discussion that can move Africa forward. What do we need to create a new form of leadership that can save the African youth? Today, the African youth is running away. As I'm speaking to you, the war in Iran and Lebanon, a lot of African migrant workers are left stranded. Some are dying. What can we do about it? So this is why I'm imploring you, my brothers and sisters, join me in this fight. What can we do to save our people? Do we want our people to continue dying? Do you want us to remain like the wretched of the earth? Is it a bad thing to be a black person in this world? That's the question I'm asking you. What should we do to change our fate? We should not just sit and be complaining every day. We need to be able to take action. So what action do you think we should take? I'm throwing the ball at you. Play it. Bye-bye.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.